Good morning. Welcome to Pemberley Farm on this beautiful, almost spring as far as the calendar is concerned, but the way everything looks, it's spring. Although last night it was 36 degrees, which is kind of unusual for right now. But anyway, so we're out in what used to be a pasture, and where we have all these years that we've been here in this spot had a huge garden. I'm standing in what part of it used to be, but because the tree behind me has grown so much over the last 20 years, we can't use all of it anymore. And so what you're seeing there is just about half of it that still gets enough sun for us to grow in. And then we'll walk in. There's a bed a little further over that's a long bed. This is where all our mature trees are here at Pemberley Farm. That's a huge pear tree there, and you see our old greenhouse. You've seen stuff about that. We'll walk over that way a little more. Out here in the center is our original persimmon tree, and the persimmons last year were so prolific that it started breaking the limbs. I mean, they were just hanging. Well, between that and the deer breaking it down, we have had a real problem with deer this past year. And so my husband just cut the whole thing back. And so he has done that, and it is sprouting back out, which is good. I didn't want to lose this old tree, but there's another one right out there. That's another persimmon tree. And then those two are, well, the front one is another smaller pear, and then some plum trees. And then this is our blueberry jungle. And you know, over the years, if you've watched us, the blueberry jungle has been an issue, and we cut it back and we thin it out, and it just keeps coming back into a jungle. And I'll pause here and walk up a little bit so that you can see that it is full of blooms. All right, this is one of the little trees that we planted out away from it and try to keep things cut back. I didn't want to film into the sun, which the way if I had to go into the big ones, I would be filming into the sun. But these little bushes are just covered in blooms. So hopefully we'll have a good blueberry crop over here this year. But these are not the only blueberries. Let's see, I'll turn around without doing the camera up, but it'll kind of be dark. But I don't think you can hear it, but there's bees all in here. So anyway, so now we're going to walk over and look at a little bit more. I just thought today, we haven't done kind of like a farm tour kind of thing in quite a long time. And so I thought that today we might just take a look around and see how things are going and what we're doing. Last year my mom passed away, and she had had a stroke before that, and so we did no gardening. We did virtually nothing on the farm the whole of last year. And so we're kind of getting our feet wet back in it again. That's the first time in a long, long, long time that I'd not had a garden. And so anyway, here's one of the other. There's another persimmon tree back on the other side, but we won't go through there. This plum tree is very old, and there's a lot of it that we need to cut back, but we just didn't get to it this year. And then this is a pear tree that has, it's a small tree, but it has, over the last couple of years, given quite a few pears. And so it's still blooming. Now the big one over here, it has just about finished blooming. It's a giant tree. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but there are deer tracks all out in here. That's what the girls were looking at in this long bed. Now, my plan is to plant my pepper plants in this bed, and I would say that I'm going to have a problem with the deer, but we are going to fence this one and the larger bed that's over there. So, you know, deer is a fact of life when you live out in the woods and in the country. And Miss Abigail is climbing a tree. Y'all don't see Abby very often. You usually see Amelia. Used to, it was Abby you saw, but she goes to school, and so she's not in a lot of our videos anymore. It's usually Amelia, the little one. But this is a tree that she's climbed her whole life as soon as she was big enough to do it. Those cages back there are actually chicken tractors. When we raise our meat birds, those are the chicken tractors we use. And they're stacked up. Okay, we're in the old greenhouse now, and I've not planted a whole lot of seeds this year. I intended to plant a lot more, but you know how that goes. And I still may not be finished planting, but I wanted to show you these. This is tomatoes. These are the sun sugar tomato from Hoss Tools, and they have germinated really well, and they look like healthy little plants. The rest of this flat is marigolds. This back here is Roselle hibiscus, and I'm going to replant more of them. Somebody gave me some more seed, and so I'm going to plant some more of them because I want to have a huge bed of Roselle hibiscus bushes, because I use Roselle in the herbal teas that I blend and sell, and that I use myself as well. My family does, and so I need a lot of Roselle. And so instead of ordering the organic Roselle from somewhere else, I'm just raising it myself this year. And these are peppers. There are, oh, these are Marconis, red Marconi peppers coming up. These are cayenne peppers here, and then the calendula did not do very well. There's only four plants that came up. It looks a little dry this morning, but as soon as this is over, I will. I watered it yesterday evening, and I'll water it again. Now this whole tray is holy basil, or tulsi, and so it has finally come up. It took it a while, but it is just covered up in plants, and it's got a while to go before I can harvest anything. We've had a hard time getting things to germinate and come up. It's all been excessively slow because it may be warm, fairly warm in the daytime, but the nights get down so much colder than is normal for this time of year. And so we've had hot, cold, and so, all right, so the passion flower didn't come up at all. That's what that one is. But the rest of this tray is chamomile. And so it's coming up, and more are coming up every day. So they were slow. This is yarrow. Someone gave me these yarrow seeds, and it has taken a long time for them to come up, but they're beginning to come up now, and like I say, every day there's new ones. And so I just sowed that whole thing in yarrow. Nothing came up in here, the cilantro, the lemon basil, nor the dill. And that one and this one I planted first. We finally are getting some lemon balm up, and then that's just regular basil. The chives did not come up. Now we've got these covers that I put on them at night, and some nights it's not, they don't need it. It's not so cold that they need to be covered. However, one year this whole greenhouse was just loaded down with trays of seedlings, and something got in here, a mouse or something, and just ate all the tops off of my seedlings. And so I lost a lot of stuff. And so this year, so from then on, I started covering the seedlings at night because I did not want to lose all that. And so that's why I put these on at night, is to try to keep them, if a mouse gets in here, then it is somewhat protected. But anyway, that's what we got going here. Not near as much as we have in times past. I can have Ashley link a video where you can see we just had trays and trays of beautiful seedlings. But this year's a little slower. We're just getting back into the swing of things, and it'll be all right. Okay, now we've come over across the road, our little dirt road, and we are next door to the old farmhouse where we do classes and other things. And so I thought I would bring you to our little raised bed garden over here. We've added these red tubs. These are like the mineral tubs that we get at Rural King for our cows. But they make great planters as well. And so in the bottom of there's a lot of big rocks in an area by our big barn. And so we put the big rocks in the bottom, and then we put just some old dirt that wasn't real important, and then we covered, and then in the top we put some really good dirt. So these are our Egyptian walking onions. This is our peppermint. keeping the mint contained because mint goes a little crazy. I apologize for the shadows. This is spearmint. I've already cut back some of it. Now, some of these plants we bought, some of them, you know, we've had for years. The perennials we've had for a long time. And because I didn't get started with my seedlings early enough this year, there's been a lot of things that we bought. Now, this is lemon thyme, and it's been here for a long time, and it loves it here. That's some unhappy spinach. We've picked some of it. This is lemon balm. I use a lot of lemon balm in my herbal tea blends, and so that's why we planted that. Now these, when we did a gardening class several years ago, and I had my husband build this thing so that people could see that you don't have to have a big garden, or if you don't have to have a big raised bed garden like all of this, but that something simple like this, just doing in buckets. And so we planted lettuce in here, and that was at least 3 years ago. And this lettuce, I let it go to seed. We picked some, but I also let it go to seed, and it just keeps coming back year after year. And I've been, if you look back on our Facebook page, Pemberley Farm Homestead, you'll see a big bacon and egg, hot bacon and egg salad that we had, and I came out here and picked. There's several different kinds of lettuce growing in here, and so we used that, and we used some of the Swiss chard, which we'll see in a minute. These two we've not put anything in yet. We just got them filled up. This is bee balm, and it'll come back. It'll be huge. It'll cover the whole end of this bed, just about it. And then there's some dill, some collards that I need to cut some. And there's some chamomile and more collards. And then that's stevia, and stevia comes back every year here. I don't know if it does everywhere, but it comes back every year here. And that's pineapple sage. It'll come back. The lemon balm died back. These beds, if you'll go back and look at our snow video, you'll see that there was about 5 or 6 inches of snow on these beds. These little plants that are coming up are all echinacea plants, and we only started out with one, that one right there. But the echinacea reseeds itself really well, and so they're coming up all over the place. There's little tiny ones that this camera's not picking up that you can't see. And then this is lavender. I don't know if you can see, it's got buds on it. It's going to bloom soon. And then some sage. I don't use sage too much, but anyway, sometimes I grow things just to watch them grow. Then over here we've got, this is garlic chives, parsley, more garlic chives, more garlic chives. The garlic chives I originally bought probably 30 years ago or more in the mountains of North Carolina, in an area that we used to live. And it multiplies, and so, you know, I've divided it and divided it, and it just loves it here. Of course, that's rosemary. That's some sad kale, and that is a beautiful bunch of oregano right there. It was just covered in snow, and it did not phase it. It didn't even bow its head. I could not believe it. And then this is beautiful celery. It is beautiful celery, and some really good looking Swiss chard. I have picked some of that as well, and some lettuce that didn't get bit by the snow that is beginning to be too big. But anyway, so that's this part. We'll go look at some more things. Oh, don't let me forget to show you the comfrey. The comfrey is beginning to get big again. It will be way much bigger before summer's over. I mean, it'll be a foot taller than that at least. And so we had pulled some of it up and we cut some and dehydrated. Then we pulled some of it up. That's why this is a little plant here, and divided it, and we sold some of it. And so Here's some more that we had pulled up, divided, and then fixed for sale. I know there's a lot of noise with that fan, but then this is the other greenhouse. There's strawberries that are about to be planted in our green stalk, and those are just some plants that we brought in for the winter that we didn't want to die. This is some stuff that I got, now I might as well go in. Some stuff I got on sale at Lowe's that was half price, and we're going to put them in some hanging flower arrangements. And then some jalapenos, things like that. And this is some of our garlic chives that we had for sale, and some of the comfrey that we had for sale. So anyway, that's what's in this greenhouse. Alright, this is our other blueberry patch. These 3 plants on the end here, that middle one looks like it may not make it, are pomegranates that are very, very, very old. They came from my husband's grandmother's house. And I don't know, that middle one has just had some issues, and even though it's watered and cared for just like the rest of it, it's just not doing too well. So we'll go in and look at the blueberries a little closer up. These are blueberries that we bought the plants. The ones on the other side are blueberries that we took from where we used to live. And so these blueberries are ones that we bought, and we were gonna trim them back this year, and we didn't, and we should have. But anyway, and they're blooming some. I don't know, last year they were completely loaded. And so there's actually 4 different kinds here. Starting here, 3 in is one kind, and then the next 3 are another kind, and the next 3 are another kind, and then the last 2 rows are some of the ones that we dug up and brought over here from across the road. So anyway, they're blooming. It doesn't look like we're going to have as good a crop as we did last year. I'm not sure why, but anyway, that's what we're looking forward to is more blueberries. But I've still got a freezer full from last year. We put up so many. So anyway, maybe they just need a year of rest. And it looks like some, I don't know, some of the things that I thought looked dead, maybe not. I don't know, they've never looked quite this sad, but they're just now beginning to leaf out, so maybe they'll look better soon. Hope so. All right, this is Abby on her bucking bronco. My granddaddy fixed this up for them several years ago, and so they enjoy it. It's just an old saddle that is not used anymore, because nobody rides our old horse anymore. And so he fixed this up for them, and they have a good time on it. Okay, now this is going to be our main garden area, and it is 30-something by just over 60 feet, I think. This is across the road, on the same side of the road where the old farmhouse is. And as you can see, we've not started planting yet. Every time we think we're going to get the rows busted to plant, it rains. And so we have not done that yet. But this will be where the main garden is. And somewhere out here eventually may be a high tunnel. We have greatly downsized the amount of garden that we have, garden area. We had several very large places of garden area. But you know, we're not as young as we used to be, and so we are downsizing considerably how much garden area we use. Now this used to be one of our garden areas in addition to all the others, and it's quite large. It's 30-something by probably 70 or 80 feet at least. But we don't use it anymore. We're just going to plant some cover crop in there. We're not going to use it for a garden anymore. Now, that's not to say that we never will again. We also considered putting a high tunnel right here. So just don't know. We've tried to decide that, so just kind of stay tuned, see what happens. I really want a high tunnel. I can't decide what size we need, what size we want, and so I just don't know yet. Any suggestions would be welcomed. If you have a high tunnel, and one that's not just a small greenhouse, I want a high tunnel. I want a fair size high tunnel. So comment down below and let me know what you have and what you might suggest. One more thing I wanted to show you. This is an arch that we created for some of our older grapevines that we relocated. We cut them way back, and we're going to let them grow up on that on this arch. Oh, I was off center on my picture. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, that's there's one on each side, on opposite sides, and we're just going to let them grow over that arch. And we've got a lot of grapevines. They're not, there's not much to see on them because they haven't started coming out yet. But they should soon. They're swelling, I think. So it won't be long before the grapevines start coming out. So not just these two. We've got a lot of them. So anyway, just thought I'd add that in. I can't wait till that is fully grown up over that and leafed out. It will be beautiful. All right, we've got a couple of more persimmon trees over here. This one's doing well, but the other one, I can't see from here if it's kind of budding out yet or not. It doesn't look well. I don't think it did well with the 15 degrees when we had the snow. But then the two taller trees back there that are young are two more pear trees that are a different kind than the ones we have, the mature ones we have across the road. And you can see up in the pasture, maybe cows. Well, in the next video we'll talk about our animals and get close up with the animals and talk about what we have and what we're doing and what we're going to do with our cows. And so just stay tuned for that. And I thank you for coming along with us on this video. It's getting too long, and that's why we decided to break it up into two different videos, one for the fruits in the gardens and one for the animals. And we didn't even look at all the fruit. We still didn't look at the orchard, the big orchard and everything. But we'll do that another day. It's getting too long now. But I thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like our videos, share them, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And please be sure to check us out on Facebook. We are Pemberley Farm Homestead. Have a great day, and God bless you from Pemberley Farm.